it works.
Sound good.
I think we wait for a couple of minutes and then we will start. As today I am starting and Lilith will join later. So 2 more minutes.
Good. Maybe a few words about the group because this is the first time I'm here. If you could let me know just in general who is here, that would be useful. And there is some people who's like both English and Ukrainian speakers. So I'm wondering how it works out. What is the percentage of non-Ukrainian speakers?
Non-Ukrainian, I think I need to ask Tanya, could you help me out? Would you know probably better the group as we are working in three different groups?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the course, we had a few more non-Ukrainian speakers, but as of now, we only have two or three non-Ukrainian speakers, but the rest
Mhm.
is all Ukrainian speaking, or almost all Ukrainian speakers. But the course is led in English mostly. Although when we have the lectures in Ukrainian, the non-Ukrainian speakers get the translation in English and vice versa. So it's been working so far, hopefully well for everybody.
Okay, so the agreement was that today I speak Ukrainian, if that works.
Yes.
But if there is any, yeah, we can, I don't know if it would be easier if we do just one way, but you know that we can do any switch
Yes,
at
we
any
can do.
moment if needed.
We've had lectures in Ukrainian and in English, so
Yeah,
anything that works best for you.
sure. No, well, I mean, for now we agreed that it would be in Ukrainian, so that's right.
Perfect.
But my presentation is in English.
I think that's actually fine because we kind of mix the language in the practical part also. So so I think we start. We're 25 now. So welcome everyone for the last actually lecture and the input. And today I'm the one to start as Lilette will join us a bit later. So welcome everyone, and I'm happy to see that most of you with a connection and power, and let's hope it will stay for tonight this way. So thank you for everyone making the effort and coming. And I'm really happy to present Anna Ackermann. She is she holds a lot of hats on one in at once. And first, she's a Eco Action Board's member, and Gio that you probably known. She's also policy analyst at the Center for the Environment Initiatives. But most importantly, that I also mentioned several times, Anna is actually leading the platform for Build Ukraine Back Better initiative that unites a lot of individuals and organizations across the world, Europe, and especially Ukraine, looking into the different ways and practices how to build back better Ukraine. So today, Anna will give us the kind of the overview, the sustainable and green reconstruction for Ukraine, approaches, practices, and standards. Yeah, Anna, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to spend time with us. So 40 minutes the talk, and we will take 20 minutes for questions and answers. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Elena. And if it's okay, I actually have questions throughout the presentation, and I thought maybe we could be discussing, yeah, all the way through to not leave everything till the end. So I switch to Ukrainian now. Колеги, всіх вітаю.
Dear colleagues, welcome everyone. It is a pleasure for me to join you today.
Можете зам'ютитися, дякую.
Thank you for muting yourself. So my name is Anna Ackermann, and Elena introduced me as a board member of Action. Since 2020, I have been working on green reconstruction in the International Institute for Sustainable Development. The only thing is we have the platform Build Back Better. I'm going to share some of our results there. My background is rather from the energy sector. Also, I have been working in the sector for energy efficiency of buildings. And also, I have worked in advocacy. So I'm sure that you are practicing specialists and you have a lot of field experience. It would be very interesting for me to hear your opinion and share your experience. So during this lecture, we will have an opportunity to communicate and to have your views. And in my work, in cooperation with other organizations, it is very important for me to understand the challenges that are relevant for the present day moment. And I will explain why it is important, but also in general, actually, as you know, quite a lot of things have changed since 2022, and I looked through my old presentations from back then, and if in 2022 it was not, I wouldn't say a dream, but we had quite visionary goals. I can see that actually we must carry on looking into the future in terms of green reconstruction. But I think that we will continue with the presentation, and then my presentation will finish with certain questions, and then we will be able to communicate, I hope, through the chat. And in general, please use the chat option to put questions to me while I'm talking, or maybe comments, or maybe express your opinions, whether you agree with something or not. So it will be very fruitful. And let me share my screen. Just a sec. Excuse me. Wrong document. Give me a sec. Yeah. Here we are, somehow the end of it, of my presentation, but jumping back into the beginning. Oh, that's the end. Sorry. I will scroll back to the first slide. Right. So the topic is rather comprehensive, and when we were discussing what I should present today, we actually discussed many aspects. Today, I would like to focus on some practical issues you can use because you're working in different areas, and all my pictures, all my visuals are from Ukraine. And so I wanted to illustrate my talk and to make it fruitful again and productive for you. We will talk about approaches, standards, and practices towards sustainable and green reconstruction of Ukraine. So to start with, I would like to ask you, do you think Ukraine is building back better? Because we have heard this phrase quite a lot and we have repeated it. We must build back better. Actually, building back better, or building back rather, is taking place. Are we really building back better? Or do you believe we are not, and why so? Explain your response, please. I think we can say, well, maybe it is not a priority, but we still carry on talking with international partners about that. Maybe we have some people in the room who could share their opinion why we are building back better or not. Right? So, yeah, there are all chances for us to do it, but we need peace. I can see it in the chat. That's true. Denis?
Доброго дня.
A good day. I would like to give an example which I can see in Vinnytsia when we are trying to implement a project of a new neighborhood for IDPs to build it in Vinnytsia. We can see some best practices there, best examples there, because land is granted to private developers, and at the same time there are public programs collaborating to implement it. And at the same time, there are various opportunities to develop this area to ensure comfortable living of office workers so that there would be jobs there located nearby. And at the same time, I can see that other developers would simply build high-rise buildings without paying any attention to the surrounding area. Also, the major thing they can do would be to place shops on the ground floor. So sometimes we can see high quality examples. Sometimes it goes simply to build something more and to sell it. So, I would like to mention this example of not destroyed areas, but rather areas that are simply developing. Excuse me, please. We had some glitches in the connection, but thank you very much for your comment. So I can see that we do not have a consolidated vision, that we need managers of the new generation, because it is very difficult to work with leaders who have no vision, no expertise, no understanding how to build back better. I agree with your comments. Denise also managed that there is some development going on, and it's not only about building houses for people to place people somewhere, but also to ensure jobs, meaning social component is considered or not. And we are not alone in this process. And actually, after 2008, we have quite a lot of bad examples because they used to build whole neighborhoods for IDPs, and one of the projects was to build like temporary housing in the middle of nowhere, meaning really nowhere, without any connection to the existing cities, and there were no jobs, nothing there, just houses. And it was a very negative example, but this is absolutely not about building back better, because people come, go there and they don't know what to do. There are no economic opportunities there. And as you are writing in the chart also, we need to have some comprehensive vision and to understand what it means to build back better than before. And I agree, we haven't yet formed this vision, and we aim in our work to get the signals what it means, because the public level, the national level, gives us no guidelines for that. And actually, you can also carry on using the chart to share your opinion. Please do. I would like to start my presentation today about what we are doing, and then I will give you just some hints of theory, and then we will continue with the Ukrainian context. So, the International Institute for Sustainable Development, IISD, is an award-winning independent think tank working to accelerate solutions for a stable climate, sustainable resource management, and fair economics. This is a Canadian institution founded in the 1990s, and I do hope that, dear colleagues, you from my institution will join me in my work in Ukraine. So we have quite a lot of intergovernmental, organizational initiatives, and basically, what I am doing since 2022 is to support coordination between NGOs, civil society sector, because since 2020, quite a lot of organizations are dealing with building Ukraine back, green reconstruction, etc. And these are also the whole spectrum of organizations. These are ecological organizations, also economic organizations, think tanks, and they are representing Ukraine, Germany, Great Britain. We have a very wide variety of organizations joined at our platform. We are coordinating our efforts, we are communicating, because quite a lot of international partners are working now in Ukraine. We are pulling efforts. We have around 90 organizations from 17 countries, covering a wide range of topics, and we are trying to provide not just any kind of support for Ukraine, but a support that will ensure building back better. And also building back according to sustainability principles. But I would like to say that it is never easy. It's never about ecology. It's never only about nature. It is a comprehensive area. So we are coordinating these issues, and we are also advocating these issues, promoting them in various countries of Europe, from Brussels to Berlin, and in Kiev too. In 2022, quite a lot of Ukrainian organizations sat together and started thinking what green reconstruction means, because we start thinking about that, and as early as in April 2022, we have formulated the key principles, and these include integration of climate and environmental policy into all sectors of economy of Ukraine, meeting European Green Deal priorities. This is the first big cluster, and it is very important because, well, no climate policy, no environmental policy can be managed by one ministry only. It must unite different ministries, different sectors. It must unite transportation, energy sector, ecological sector, and others. So it is very important, and so this is the way European Union is working to achieve big climatic goals. Quite a lot of efforts and attention is focused on the way reconstruction should serve the needs of Ukrainians. Since 2022, we started to be apprehensive that Ukraine could be viewed in the process of reconstruction as a country which can export raw materials for other countries. And so, unfortunately, as of now, we can see that Ukraine is again being viewed as not as maybe only a source of ores and mineral resources, but you have seen it in the agreement on critical mineral resources. There is this issue mentioned, and it is connected to military support. So yes, there are such tendencies, and Ukraine at the same time can be a country that could generate green hydrogen, but for export purposes, for the need to satisfy the needs of Germany. And so that is why we have mentioned it here. Another thing is development of green economy. So green economy, or you can say sustainable economy. It is important because we need to think what kind of economy we are going to have in Ukraine. We have quite a lot of enterprises which are either destroyed or they are so outdated that we must change them. Economy must transform, and we do hope that it will follow the modern principles. The next principle is adherence to European environmental planning tools for Ukraine's restoration, and this is a very important part, and we need to align with European legislation. It is very important for Ukraine to send EU and to move along this path. And actually, in 2030, this can be the landmark year for us to join EU, and it is a security issue. And so here we need to approximate and actually to do it rather quickly to align with European practices and approaches. And it is everything that concerns sustainability, environmental protection, and etc. And three more points here. Well, I would say let it be priority number 5, important role of local self-government, of communities within the context of sustainable reconstruction, because without communities there will be nothing. And as of now, when we have the issues we are discussing today are not a priority at the national level. Talking about sustainable reconstruction, green reconstruction. So I think the communities will be the drivers for more sustainable reconstruction, because quite a lot of things are happening at the level of communities, and they must be involved into the decision-making processes, because when we are talking about the national level and some very general things like about some ecological policy, etc., now it wouldn't be considered to be serious. But when it is about communities and at their level, this means water pollution, soil pollution, air pollution, and it is about health care of specific people. So it is important for a community, and for the residents of cities, it is also very important. Everything starts from below. And 2 more principles: ensuring safe state of the environment, because there is no sustainable reconstruction without that. And also effective functioning and use of targeted donor funds for post-war reconstruction, and meaning both the funds provided by donors and the public budget, because we have some problems with it when we're talking about efficient funding. Imagine that sustainable procurement system is not yet being operational, and it means that from at any level, from the level of ministry to the level of local entities, we are talking about, let's say, inability to procure lamp bulbs, which will not heat the air. So I'm going to speed up. Don't worry. I will meet the time limit provided. So can I see the chat? I'm trying to. Okay. So let us continue with the chart as soon as we have more questions there. Right. So this was 2022, and now we are in 2025. So as of 2025, we have come to the understanding that we need to be very specific. We need to get some very specific solutions for sustainable recovery of Ukraine. Yes, we have brilliant, beautiful principles, but how to translate them into policies, into decisions adopted, or into the standards adopted. And this year, we actually have sat down. Actually, we have been sitting for half a year, and we were doing this for many NGOs, more than 40, and we had more than 60 experts involved. And we were discussing sustainable reconstruction of Ukraine, and we have compiled a roadmap for sustainable recovery of Ukraine, containing the key policies which, in our opinion, are important, and in all sectors like construction, environment, economy, energy, architecture, transport. So we would like to update this manual, this roadmap, to add also waste management there. And here, for us to identify the priorities, we needed to give ourselves a framework, so how we are working. Like in energy, we don't have any understanding really what to do with big objects like NPPs, and like with power stations, they are being shelled. They are being the permanent target, and they are being reconstructed again. But here we have mentioned that what we need for sustainable reconstruction is to decentralize the energy grid, to develop minor grids, microgrids, and also to redesign the heat supply system, how to preserve what we have, how to develop it, because we do need it. And also there are quite a lot of issues about tariffs, etc., but I'm not going to plunge into it and I'm not going to present this roadmap to you, but I will later give you a link to this document. So there is a Ukrainian translation of it, so just have a look if you're curious from our point of view on these priorities. And again, I think they are more about legislation, what amendments can be introduced at the national level. But today I would continue to discuss just one sector, and actually I don't have enough time to cover it comprehensively, and I'm not an expert. We were collaborating with other experts, and if you need their context, I will be happy to share. So a bit of theory. And I think we start with the question at once. So what is the difference between a green, sustainable, resilient, and climate-friendly reconstruction? You can choose any of these points and think about it, and please use the chat to write your comments and answers, because while I was giving you this presentation, I was using different words. I was using sustainable term, I was using green reconstruction term, and I will continue with other things. So maybe you could provide a brief you could provide a difference between these terms in brief, and then I will later show you pictures how it could be illustrated. Right, how can I see the chart option? Let me see how I can switch it on.
So now there's
right, I can see that.
Yeah.
We can see one comment from Julia. Right, these terms look like parts of one whole. Maybe yes, maybe no. And my question is, what about environment? It's not even mentioned here. So like reconstruction of environment, is it the same? As far as I know, and this is an answer from the chat, as far as I know, sustainable construction is construction which minimizes pernicious exhausts. Next answer is these are different foci. One term cannot cover everything because it cannot cover everything. Next answer is sustainable is more about prospects. Resilience is a reaction, response here and now. Okay. Next answer is these are different approaches to one universal whole. I will show you a few slides later. Just have a look, please. And I think it is important to differentiate between these terms. Today we're living through the era of Donald Trump, and he prohibited to use the terms such as climate, green, I think sustainable. I didn't mention. I didn't see it in the list, but I think it should be there. I mean, he prohibited these terms to be used officially by state officials. And imagine that it already is applied to Ukraine and to the way Ukrainian government is dealing with that. So when we have a kind of presentation, some public presentation or public event, people are discussing, should we include the term climate there? Maybe it won't be accepted by our international partners. So it is important for you to understand the situation in the world. We are not going to continue with Donald Trump today, but the idea is that, yes, there is a difference between these terms, and it is important. And it is important to know what we're discussing and what focus we're discussing. So I can see some more comments in the chat. So climate friendly. It's about the minimizing the CO2 exhausts. Green reconstruction is about nature and ecological materials. Sustainable development is about the development which is beneficial here and in the future. Yes, you have the point. I will actually show you a few slides about this. So this is actually what I saw in my training. Actually, now I am doing a very interesting training in environment and security, and actually I have always thought for myself, I explained it to myself that, you know, everything could be put within some climate framework, because climate change is a very global thing, and it also is relevant for Ukraine because we live in the world in which climate is changing, so it has direct impact on our life. So, for instance, we have high temperatures in summer, right? But actually, the climate change is just one of the problems we are facing today, and it's not a challenge, it's a problem. So there is a framework provided by the researchers, international researchers. They have already published a few reports, and it is called Planetary Boundaries. I'm trying to translate it into Ukrainian, sorry. Planetary boundaries. So I have translated it into Ukrainian, great. And so if we trespass, and the scientists are trying to actually calculate whether we have already trespassed these boundaries or not, then if we trespass, our existence on this earth is less secure. And so climate change is just one of 9 aspects which are identified, and we are gradually moving towards trespassing the climate change boundary. As of 2025, we have trespassed upon 7 boundaries. And here we have a question about, here we have the issues about acidification of oceans, land use. And I'm not discussing this in much detail. You can actually learn about it yourself. But this is the framework, and this is the framework we are living within on planet Earth. And such countries as Brazil, which has a huge river, the Amazon, and a lot of rainforest, it absorbs a lot of carbon, and there is a threat that this rainforest, which is being chopped down, contributes a lot in this way to the climate change. So Brazil is one of the few places on the earth with the largest biodiversity. And if climate change actually is investigated and we study how it affects us, in terms of biodiversity and in terms of this aspect, we need more research. It is under-researched. But at the same time, yes, scientists are working on that. They're trying to calculate, to assess our chances. So this is the world we are living in. And as for sustainability, here I would like to say it is about construction, but I can use it more generally. Sustainability as such, as a notion, it is a kind of development which will not harm our future generations. So we are developing, but by our development, we are not harming our future generations. So the sustainable building, as you see, is located at the interaction of the economic, social, and environmental aspects. So here you can see building, but you can actually apply it to any thing. So as you see, I would like to say at once that in the green sector, we have some environmental challenges and solutions, but at the same time, they will have effect on social development. So also, like every time you plan something environmental, you will have some social aspects there. Quite fewer are the economic aspects involved, and this is a challenge because when we are building something like green, as you see, we need also to take into account the economic aspects. It is very important because you understand why it is important. So ideally, sustainable development, sustainable building is located at the intersection of all the three big areas. Another thing which we can discuss when we're discussing sustainability is again climate. Climate is the important word here. Climate is the central white circle. Then the next circle is social, green, and sustainable. So it means that sustainability covers everything. So I would like to say at once that I'm talking rather about ecological sustainable development, less about social sustainable development. Elena is actually doing quite a lot of sustainability research and work. So I would like to give you more of this climate environmental framework with but I will use the word sustainable because we are there. This is a sustainable framework. So here I think it is worthwhile mentioning why it works the way it does. You can imagine, you can try to picture to yourself why climate is like the smallest circle. We can build a house, and in it we will have climatic, I don't know, climatically friendly technologies like solar panels. This is not a fossil fuel, but it's not inclusive because it's not important for climate to provide inclusivity in this building, right? Or, for instance, when we build this building, we are not taking into account biodiversity aspects, right? And we are using the technology that we know. So maybe this house will not be very green, very ecologically friendly, though it will be good for climate. And also, you remember this story maybe. What's happening in the Carpathians? They are installing wind turbines there, and actually, to do this, they are chopping the ancient forests of the Carpathians, and so it is a huge challenge. Instead of this is something which we can term climatically friendly technology, right? But then if you look wider, then if you put these wind turbines anywhere you wish, if you don't think where you place it, it's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable approach. Right. Okay. So let's leap forward. Right. Okay. Finally, Ukraine. Well, let us talk why we are discussing it in Ukraine, why it is relevant to discuss green reconstruction, to discuss building better than before. This is European bridge. There used to be 3 bridges there because one road was the orbital road. I think it was in April, in May of 2022, and when the new road was built and the new bridge was built, you can see here the destroyed bridge used to have bike lanes, and the new bridge doesn't have any bike lanes. Though our standards are envisage them, but the bridge was constructed without bike lanes, and it's just one example what we noticed. And people who actually deal with the transport reconstruction said, yes, this is not exactly build back better, this is build back worse. Again, a question to you. Before I tell you things, what do you think? Why do you think sustainable solutions are relevant for Ukraine today? And in what sectors you see most urgency? Maybe from your own experience. So, if you have any ideas, can you please present them shortly? So once again, we are talking here about sustainable solutions. You can say ecological, you can say green solutions. So which word do you like best? In the context we have discussed. As for the definitions. And please use the chart. The chart says energy efficiency and energy preservation. Yeah, these are basic things, right? I have mentioned this. We understand when we have no electricity, well, actually you can say that because we have no energy supply today, well, then we are actually saving energy, but it's much more complicated than that. Yeah, next comment is that they must be taken into account in all areas. Next comment is sustainable approaches are important in security and in safety construction, and for instance when shelters are built, right? And also I believe that yes, we're taking this into account in the platform Build Back Better. Another comment is they are relevant for circular construction. Yes, I agree with that. I will say a few words about that. And next one, in urban planning, when we formulate TOR for comprehensive plans of territorial development. Right, next comment is sustainable solutions are relevant always and everywhere in Ukraine as of now. It is an even more important issue because nature and a person are suffering. So yeah, actually this is why we started making this roadmap of sustainable reconstruction, because not always we can, do everything, and I will tell you more about this. So actually, please remind me of the time, dear moderators. Yeah, well, I can speed up. I can actually skip a few slides if this the issue. Anyway, let us talk about sustainable solutions and their relevance. Okay, so if we are looking broader, if we look at the impact of this war on climate, we are doing it together with an international group of experts. We have been doing it since 2022, and they are actually calculating all greenhouse gas emissions since 2022. They are trying to do it, but of course, we don't have all the data, but they are trying to approximate. And so, actually, the emissions are huge. It's 236 million tons in the equivalent, but the most of it, well, not most of it, but it's from reconstruction. Why so? Because 75% are attributed to reconstruction. Why so? Because reconstruction uses quite a lot of cement and steel, and they are responsible for a lot of emissions. And the world is also very interested in the way we are reconstructing, because we cannot, due to various reasons, prevent emissions. And these emissions will impact all the planet in terms of climate change. And so the key approaches important here are sustainable low carbon technologies and materials, and in general, a new approach to construction where we are looking at the full life cycle approach to infrastructure development and just construction. So you know that Ukraine has horrible ruination and damage, and in particular in terms of residential buildings, but I will focus also on that later. So to potentially reduce the climatic footprint of any kind of construction, there is an approach which has been devised by urban planners, planning for big development, and it is relevant for everyone. When you can build nothing. And so the question is, do we need it? Like, if the city is devastated, do we need a new school in it? Or can we build less? Then if we build less, it helps us to build more efficiently. It is a very painful issue, but it is also very important to consider when we consider any kind of construction, because actually the concept was we are building back better than we had. Yes, so we see something destroyed, we need to rebuild it, but we need to build clever. We need to optimize material usage and design with low carbon materials. And the very process of construction must be more efficient, so we must build efficiently. We need to concentrate not only on these shoeboxes in which we are using to reconstruct, which we are using solar panels and some low carbon technologies. No, we need to look at the whole cycle. And of course, we must consider what will happen to this building when we need to disassemble it and utilize it as debris, so that it could be done in the climate-friendly way. So there are a few sustainable and climate solutions relevant for Ukraine, and of course we understand that they are formed around the concept of safety and security. For instance, we are trying to use decentralized energy systems. We use energy efficiency, energy saving. We are using circular solutions mentioned by you already in construction. We try to use destruction debris in construction. We are considering climate adaptation. Remember, please, something that happens, the situation in Odessa, which of flooding and casualties. And also, of course, European integration is extremely important in this context. We need to look at the standards of EU, what exactly we are implementing, and what standards we can actually leapfrog, not just catching up European Union, but also leapfrog the things which we can and introduce more updated solutions and things which we can take from European Union experience. Here, there are a few examples of the projects in Ukraine. On your right, you can see a house with solar panels. This is from Horenka, Kiev region. In the end of 2022, early 2023, we used only NGOs to efforts to install the solar panels with a heat pump, and this is the building which was damaged during the hostilities. And this project, which cost only 50,000 euros, I repeat, 50,000 euros, very minimum sum, and we promoted it as a possible option for Ukraine, not just procuring very expensive generators, power generators, which we also supplied during this winter. So also maybe you have heard about Lviv, the Unbroken Prosthetic Center. I think I think a lot of NGOs are working in this respect, and there is quite a lot of state support for that at the national level. And also just a few examples. Have a look, Trostanets on your left. This house was also damaged. Trostanets was occupied. The house was damaged. This is Sumy region. And this house, actually, next week will be the venue for one of the events, and this house will be, I think, the first house in Ukraine which will not fully dependent on gas, and it will be fully heated through heat pumps. So this, I think, is the first Khrushchevka building in Ukraine that is going to be self-supporting, self-sufficient, and actually it will provide enough energy for itself. And once again, returning to the unbroken central picture, maybe you have seen it, maybe you have heard about it. There are quite a lot of interesting technologies used here. It is a very interesting project as it is. It is about efficient water use, so interesting case. So in general, we live in the situation when we need to have everything done yesterday, so we do not have our range of activities is quite restricted, and we are not supported at the national level very much. But yes, there are some pilot projects, and it is excellent because if we compare with 2025, as of 2025, we have quite a lot in 2022. As of 2025, we have quite a lot of pilots. Of course, we're facing tremendous challenges. Because we need to build back better. Again, we need to find experts. We need to also build within the context when environmental issues are not a priority. It is rather difficult to communicate, but we need to advocate possible approaches. The market is not ready for green construction. We also are thinking what to do with that. But one of the issues is going to be the issue of tariffs. Anyway, energy tariffs are going to escalate, and then it would rocket. And actually, it will be very interesting to see what we can do in terms of efficient solutions, sustainable solutions, and this will be an incentive. So, and of course, we have the issue of having everything done quickly, not in good quality. And please remind me of the time. Yeah, I think that I will leapfrog a few slides.
Yeah, I think if you could kind of try to wrap it in three minutes, and then we can open for the discussions, and then we can get back to the presentation.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, в мене є запитання, але давайте...
Right, I have a question, but I think I will simply get you through the slides very quickly. This summer we also published a kind of a review, building forward better in various aspects. I'm just going to skip this and I will show you something else. So our international partners especially those who are already working in Ukraine, international financial organizations, they already have established certain criteria of sustainability. Here, I would like to give you an example of NEFCO. This is a Scandinavian organization. They are working directly with the communities. We have communicated with them, and they share their own criteria for green reconstruction of Ukraine. They said that since 2022, their program, they are targeting green reconstruction. What it means for them is that any project they fund must provide a better energy efficiency level than is now stated by Ukrainian standards. It must be at least one type of green technology used in this project. They must also use such projects funded by them must have a resource efficient appliances used. They aim at zero fossil fuels in new buildings. So, and no fossil fuels, and clearly no fluorescent lamps or asbestos. And these buildings are being built now. On this picture, you can see a new residential house for IDPs built in Khmelnytsky, built according to these standards. So this is NEFCO approach, and they are working in Ukraine now using these standards. So in general, I'm not going, maybe it will take too much time to discuss this slide, but right, let me skip through it. Okay, I would like to show you this. We have compared together with my colleagues, the standards, frameworks, and certification systems applied in Europe. And this is the ZEB and in ZEB standards. So zero energy building and near zero energy buildings. Unfortunately, we don't have similar standards in Ukraine, and the next standard to be introduced by the European Union, this is zero emission buildings. So now they have NZEB efficient. So ZEB is very interesting for us because already it implements some approaches we have discussed. For instance, the analysis of the whole life cycle of a building and its impact on the environment, and it means that we need to agree upon some aspects of circularity. Besides these two standards, ZEB and ZEB, and they are the ones we need to meet to join European Union. You also maybe have heard DGNB, German certification, LEED, American certification, EDGE, which is an international corporation. So all these standards are different. They have different approaches, but the criteria that they take into account are mentioned on this slide. If you need their certification, you need to take these aspects into account. And you can see here that European Union has its own standards and quite a lot of red crosses. It means that it doesn't take many things into account, which are already incorporated by somebody else. I think we need to to make our way together with the whole of Europe. And so I think that now we are here in NZEB standard. It's like you install your solar panels, it's good energy efficiency, and you're happy with that. No, we cannot be happy with that only. We need to look at improving biodiversity, for instance, in general, and we need to think how to do it. Or we need to think about connected location of the building, whether this building is accessible by public transportation. At once, we need to look wider. Of course, we need to think about inclusivity. We need to think about climatic resilience, etc. And this transition from NZEB to ZEB in Europe it is already paradigm changing, and we need to think about it today. And the things I showed you before, I showed you to show, well, to say that it is relevant. We have so much to resolve. We have such a big challenge of waste management, but we need to start on it. We need to start doing it, and etc. So these are, I'm not going to discuss that. Actually, you will have the slide, you can look through it, how it works, because it's really very interesting to see what can be inside a green building. What are the criteria which allow us to say that this is a green building, this is a sustainable building? It's not only that so here you can see transportation accessibility is mentioned. It's about insulation. It's about thermal comfort. It's about the air inside the house and the ventilation systems. It's about green zones. It's about biodiversity, etc. So everything is mentioned here, and actually some people have already thought about it. We have landmarks, we have guidelines, and we can look to them, and those who would like to make their pilots in an efficient way, make them cool, thruster nets, for instance, etc., they can look at that already, and they can think how to make it even better and then scale up. So here I am coming to my conclusions. Climate friendly. Actually, I can, yeah. My conclusions also include one more thing, which I didn't mention yet, and I have mentioned everything else. So I mentioned our communities. Quite a lot of communities are actually leaders in terms of sustainable development, how it happens. These communities quite often are signers of the European Mayors Agreement. For instance, it means that we have already more than 300 communities like that. These are the communities who have set themselves climatic goals, they have plans to achieve them, and these plans encompass energy sector, local transportation, and other areas. For instance, till the end of the year, all the communities have to design municipal energy plans, and actually these plans have been produced on the basis of the best practices in terms of climate action. And it's not only about energy efficiency, it's also about other areas. And on the basis of these municipal energy plans, any Ukrainian community will be able to apply for budgeting, for funding of its pilot projects if it has such a plan. If not, then no funding can be applied for. And of course, such plans need to be high quality. They need to be not just some, short-handed drafts, but they need to be serious. And of course, these participants of the international programs need to, they show that they can be the source of best practices like Zhytomyr. They do not have any energy outings. Why so? Because they have invested a lot into energy sector. And so, yes, it is possible to use international programs to achieve tangible results. We have a lot to learn from each other. And within the system of sustainable planning, of sustainable development, we can share a lot. And actually, climatic reconstruction, climate-sensitive reconstruction. I will stop here. I actually have quite a few slides more, but I will stop here because I have run out of time. And this is the QR code, and I'm sharing the presentation with you, and you will have access to our roadmap. Actually, visit our site, and you will have access to many interesting publications which have emerged in different sectors of late, so which concern reconstruction in various sectors, transportation, economy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Так.
Right.
Elena, you're muted.
Elena, you need to switch on your mic. I cannot hear you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So thanks a million, Anna, for your presentation. And as you see by the reactions and already questions coming on the chat, but thanks for kind of putting a lot of things that we already discussed in more kind of framework. What is reconstruction and transformation, and also the urban health. You actually managed to go through your presentation and link it to more aspects of what can be done in Ukraine, and especially looking into the standards. And I wish we had 1 more hour on standards, because I think that's really important to understand how, with the existing tools and existing legal framework, we can actually apply it and start and continue the work of building back better. So I will give a floor. I see that Alexander, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Добрий вечір. Пані
Good
Анна,
evening.
дуже дякую за змістовну презентацію.
Ms. Anna, thank you very much for your brilliant presentation. I would like to ask, well, the programs you have mentioned pay much attention to energy efficiency. Unfortunately, the sectors which produce most emissions is heat generation and use of fossil fuels. Quite little attention is used quite little attention is paid to economy, and there are a lot of practices of upgrading just banal panel houses, and such very minor interventions can economize like 40% of heating. So, and this can bring money back to heat suppliers, right?
Should I answer straight away, or we collect questions?
I think we can collect 3 questions. So I see Tatiana. No, but it was 1 more hand before Tatiana. Who had another hand before Tatiana?
I think Olga.
Olga, go ahead, and then Tatiana.
Right, I started writing my question in the chat. I'm an architect, and it is interesting for me how I can apply all these principles in my practical work, because in general, I understand what the challenges are, what we need to remember. As a young specialist, it is very difficult for me to understand what are the instruments I need to apply. Now I am designing a building. What are the instruments? What are the options to design and incorporate these principles in a specific project? So what are the specific roadmaps, which you can quote and suggest?
Tatiana, we take your answer.
Thank you. Так, дякую. Таке питання.
Actually, the question is, in southern regions, during the summer period, there is quite a lot of load on air conditioning. And so in Chernomorsk, this is my city I represent, we have signed the mayor's agreement. We have a lot of plans adopted, but our energy manager doesn't provide us even with statistical data. What are the indicators in terms of energy use during the summer season, the energy used to cool the premises? I think this question deems a lot of attention, and I think we need not only to think about effective heating during the winter, but also we need to consider summer heat and air conditioning.
Дякую дуже за запитання.
Thank you very much for your question.
Тут деякі з них будуть
переливатися. I think questions will overlap a bit, because we are talking here about energy efficiency, energy generation, and also it applies to your question a bit too, because we're talking about cooling. Quite a lot of attention is given to the energy sector. It's clear why. Actually, we have a challenge. You are saying that energy efficiency must be a priority. I also studied this topic. I invested 5 years of my life into this area when I was starting the energy efficiency foundation. Maybe you remember that experience. So we needed a foundation in Ukraine which would support energy efficiency measures in Ukraine. But when we are talking about the stages of the process, we need to start with energy efficiency. We need to set the priorities. So when we talk about the building, we start quite often with individual heat stations, about the energy supply system, and then we are talking about insulation of the walls, of the roof, etc. But what we imagine that we don't have any electric energy, and this is the situation we are living through now. Yeah, and excuse me, I apologize. Yeah, so I was talking about priorities. So first the insulation, and then solar panels, right? At least this was the situation as of 2021. So I mean, solar panels, why we need them? So this was not a priority in 2021. These were definitely not the first priorities in terms of energy efficiency. As of now, actually houses try to balance, trying to provide better lighting, but now the priorities have changed. The priorities have changed towards autonomy and towards providing at least some kind of energy source, energy supply. And so I can give you some unofficial statistics. I don't know whether we have some official statistics, because I was discussing it also with my colleagues in Kiev. There is a program in Kiev supporting HOAs, in which the city covers 70% of the cost of the energy efficiency projects applied to high-rise building. And in this year, 70% of the funding is actually invested into solar panels and into battery accumulation. So somehow something's wrong here. So I'm not even starting to talk about cooling. I agree, this is a huge problem, and it's not only about your energy manager who is not thinking about that. No one is thinking about that. So we do not have enough data on energy generation and insulation, and talking about cooling it's like question number 100. So that's true. Talking about heat supply and heating consumption. As I said, unfortunately, we have quite a distorted situation now, but we can do something about it. In energy generation, I mentioned this Trostanets case, this house, the Khrushchevka, which is energy efficient. Somehow it is working, and it is going to be to use only 2 heat pumps. And this is a new approach for heat supply at the level of one house. And in Germany, it's common. Any building is using heat pump solution, but there is a big question in Ukraine. I have already talked about it. Is the tariffs, because in energy generation, everyone is focusing on heating. And in terms of heat supply, our tariffs are not matching the reality. We need to update them and to modernize the system of heat supply using these tariffs. It's not possible. And imagine what the people will see in their monthly prices. So, and we understand that quite a lot of people are providing themselves with heating on the individual basis. So it is very difficult to install heat pumps in for households which are using their own individual heating solutions. And so if we overlap this with European standards, it is a very difficult issue. But somehow the heat supply, the heating supply, right, is has drawn economy. I mean, somehow the figures do not match. Let us look at trust nets, and then we will see whether it can work for Ukraine. We will see. As for the principles which an architect, a young architect can use, I'm not an architect. It's difficult for me to suggest anything specific here, but I definitely know that architects in Germany, for instance, are using DGNB certification. I have shared this table with you. This is the first standard. And I think this DGNB certification includes all the principles. You just open it and actually they have a whole catalog of solutions, criteria. Everything is explicated for new buildings, for renovated buildings. So DGNB, it's one of the best certification systems, the most powerful in Europe for sustainable construction. And once again, I would like to say this is not only about some climate action, some ecological approach. No, the very system of certification DGNB has balanced all the sustainability goals, and they include social, economic, and ecological aspects. I will try to find a link, but you need to register. They are on their website, but I think we can manage. Anyway, I discussed it with our colleagues. I think last year we have a Ukrainian Council on Green. Ukrainian Green Building Council founded last year, and they are following the state-of-the-art standards. If you would like to communicate with them, because this is an interesting topic, they will be open, glad, and very welcoming. So, yeah. Alexander Kucheravi, if I got the last name right, is a very cool guy. He is really very communicable, very sociable, and so I'm just having a look at the chart, and yeah, I can actually introduce you to him. As for the cooling question, yes, we have this issue, and it's great that you have heard that you have this energy manager, and it's cool that Chernomorsk has signed this agreement. I don't know the statistics. I actually know that there were quite a few people who were trying to approach this issue systematically, but I know that they were already dismissed from their positions, so I don't know how well they managed. Yes, it is difficult. So, unfortunately, I cannot suggest much here, but well, try to work with your energy manager, try to get the statistics from them, and maybe some other cities know these statistics. I can ask. Theoretically, these plans also include the climatic adaptation aspects. So yeah, it's a great question. I will research. Actually, I'm asking this question because I'm an ecologist. And together with our Alexander Krchma, if you know him, we are discussing this issue quite a lot. Quite a lot. Right. Yes, it's an important issue. I agree. Right. I am actually giving you links here in the chat. If there are more questions, you're welcome. Go right ahead. Right. And also, I saw one question in the chat.
There was a question in the chat.
Right.
Right. Yes, it's a question in the chat.
Yes, it's a question in the chat. Yes, it's a question in the chat. Right. And also, I saw one question in the chat. There was a question in the chat. Right. And also, I saw one question in the chat. Actually, I think I have already answered it. And it concerns about the comparison of the carbon impact. Actually, I also managed that we need to leapfrog certain norms of European Union, this standard which we are only approaching since 2030. In 2030, the ZEB standard is about, how should I put it? It's about calculating the carbon footprint in terms of construction and the life cycle analysis. And so far, European Union is only approaching that. They are learning to implement it there. So let's follow let's monitor this project and let's see what's happening there and how it is going to be implemented. We are surely, there are for sure certain approaches, and I have a colleague doing green certification. They have some approaches. Actually, you can approach the Ukrainian Green Reconstruction Council. We are definitely having this in sooner or later in the regulations, and we will have to provide some methodology. We will not be able to go around it. So we will have to approach it even before European Union is making it compulsory. Yeah, and I can see also, yeah, I'm giving you this link to the Green Reconstruction Council. Please follow them. If you need context, I will post them in the chat.
Thanks a million, Anna, for your insights and examples and links and linking the topics. I think we need to let you go and the team to rest for 15 minutes before we go back to the working groups in our 3 rooms. So thanks a million again, Anna, for your time and sharing your experience with everyone here. And we meet in 15 minutes, so basically 2010 in our groups. And we try to do the final touch on our group work. So see you in 15 in the separate rooms. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation.
And thank you, Elena, for the translation.